Hey guys, thanks for taking the time to check out this walkthrough of how to build a keys mix using the Behringer P16 in-ear unit. I'm going to approach this from scratch, and I encourage you guys to start each mix from the starting point. If you'd like a more detailed explanation of how to set things up from this starting point, check out our controls overview tutorial. But let's go ahead and dive into how to build a keys mix. So I want to notate a few things here. When I walk up to a unit before I've plugged my ears in, these are some things I want to make sure I do. I want to go to every channel, and I'm going to completely turn every one of these down. What this is going to allow me to do is, one, build an accurate mix to what I want to hear, but it's also going to prevent me from plugging my ears in and things being too loud, and then I end up in a situation of having possible hearing damage by putting my in-ears in. So this allows me to be safe when I'm plugging in my ears. And then also, the next thing I'm going to do is going to set myself up for success with making sure I have proper gain staging. So my main I've selected here, we're going to make sure that that is at max volume. Our level, this is going to be also at about 75%, and that's going to give us plenty of headroom to build our entire mix. For a keys, as far as like kind of EQ I would probably put maybe our lows down just a little bit. You can keep your mids there, and if you want a little bit more top end to have some more clarity in those keys, then you can do that as well. So let's go ahead and start building our mix. A few notes here is we're going to use our specific instrument, in this case the keys, as a level of countability. So as I set this keys level, I'm going to bring this in, and then as I'm bringing other instruments in for the rest of my band, I'm going to make sure that nothing is going to override where I've initially set my keys. What this does is it allows you to maintain headroom. It eliminates you from getting in the situation of, as the band builds, you can't hear yourself, so you keep turning things up, and then before you know it, everything's up and you still can't hear yourself. So we want to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success. So let's go ahead and bring in some tracks here, and we'll start building this keys mix here. So you'll notice everything is off right now. We're going to start with our keys volume. I'm going to bring this in. So I'm going to set this at a level that feels good in my ears. And I want to make sure that this is at a level, I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. I'm going to make sure this is at a level that is not going to be too loud, that I'm going to be okay with listening to myself at this volume for the entire duration of my set. So let's go ahead and bring this back up a little bit. So that feels pretty good to me. The next thing that I want to bring in is I want a reference of time. So I'm going to bring in the metronome. And this is going to help me start songs well and make sure that I'm staying on time. In addition to this, I may go ahead and bring in some vocals. And I'm not going to bring those up so loud that I can't hear myself. So I'm keeping those more as just reference of where we're going with the song. And that's going to help me ensure that I can hear myself clearly throughout the entire set. And then from here I can go ahead and bring in some more time elements like drums. Another thing that's important for keys players is to know what's going on with the electrics, because a lot of times these parts have the potential to sound similar, so we want to know what these guys are doing too. Let's bring in our second electric. You'll notice the keys, it's still staying on top of everything, so we're still in a good place there. And then to have a little bit more beef out of my mix, we can bring some bass in just to fill out the bottom so we don't feel so isolated. And then finally, to give us some realism of what's going on in the room, our room mic is going to be in aux 4. So let's go ahead and bring this in. I'm going to bring it up too much, and then we'll bring it back down. So that's clearly too much. Everything, I lost my entire mix there. So let's bring it down. So without, with it in. That gives us a little bit more realism of what's going on there. I'm going to go ahead and pause this for a minute and just kind of walk through all these approaches again. So we started building our mix, obviously with us first. Then we got our time elements in, which we had click brought in. We wanted a reference for what's happening in the room. That's coming from our vocal channels. And again, we're not wanting those vocal channels to overpower our individual instrument. Rather, also we don't want the rest of the band overpowering us. So we just want to know where is the vocalist leading, and where we want to make sure that we're following their cues. And so we're just setting that a little bit under where we're playing. And then we're bringing in some drums to make sure that we are staying in time with everything in case we were to get off the click, or if that needs to change or some reason, we have another time elements that's still on par there. And then we're also prioritizing where the guitars are sitting in the mix. So those are going to make sure that any parts that we're playing that has a melody in it, we're not overstepping any of the harmonic regions that those guys are playing in, and so that we can make sure that we're all contributing what we need to. And then we bring in a little bass just to fill out the warmth of our entire mix. But also sometimes we're locking in with those chord changes with the bassist as well, and help that relationship stay tight. Finally, just to make ourselves not feel so isolated, we want to bring in a little bit of crowd mic. Again, that one's easy to overpower and run out of headroom with your mix. And so you want to use that sparingly, just enough to where moments where you drop out, you can really hear the room singing. And moments when it's big, it has a little bit sense of what's happening in the room as well. This is some great approaches to make sure that you are maintaining headroom in your keys mix. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out to our team. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time.